actually getting more performance. You're obviously getting the fuel efficiency benefits. So I think this is a win-win. Welcome to Drive Culture. I'm Jonathan Rivers, and today we have the 2024 Honda CR-V Sport L Hybrid. And I'm going to tell you why this is one of the best compact CUVs in the market today, because we're going to go over the exterior, interior, powertrain, and of course, take it for a drive. So if this is content you're after, or you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that bell to subscribe to come back for more. And with that, let's get after it. All right, here we are with the exterior of the 2024 Honda CR-V Sport L Hybrid. And now this is in the 6th generation of CR-V. It's been around for a very long time, super successful car for Honda, but this to me, I think this is the best looking CR-V they've made, bar none. I love the sporty angular design, and especially with the Sport L trim. There's a couple of dark accents that they add that really just ramps it up and makes it really look sporty, all things considered, right? So let's talk about what we got up front. So you got, full LED headlights. I think they look really good. The black brow kind of integrates into that. We have the great Honda logo, very big and bold with this kind of what they're calling, rugged type of grille design, but it's very nice, gloss black accents and things like that. On this trim, you'll see you got things like parking sensors down below, but really it's just this little piece here. Now on certain trims, this is actually like painted a silver color, but on the Sport and the Sport L, it's this black color. And I think it actually matches it even better. Let us know down in the comments what you guys think. You'll also notice down below, there's actually what they call active grille shutters. So they actually, move, open and close while you're driving to, of course, improve fuel efficiency. So I think that's really cool. The front looks great. As we make our way around the side of the car, this is, again, a big difference for the Sport L trim. So you can get the Sport Hybrid with the 18-inch wheels, same size, same tire setup that you see here. But on the Sport L, they come in this black color. And I think it looks really, really good. Again, if you remember the Accord review that we did, you'll see that Accord actually ran on 19s, and those were a matte black finish. So here, they're 18s, and they're a gloss black. But I think it still looks really good. Overall design is really good. You got black mirror caps. You got black roof rails too. So again, you got some extra utility even out of your CV, but yeah, definitely really good. I think this car, like I said, this is definitely the best profile and styling of the CR-V. It's very angular, muscular. So again, I think the Honda designers did a really, really good job. As we make our way to the rear, I think I like this the best about the CR-V, because I like, they kept these kind of iconic CR-V taillights, right? But at the same time, when they did the full redesign, they went full LED, and they're like these thick bars here, and it just really makes CR-V stand out. I mean, it's kind of got a signature look and feel to it. But out back, with it being the sport trim, you got sport badging in black, the CR-V, the hybrid trim. And interestingly enough, if you look down below, you actually have chrome exhaust finishers. So again, if you go back to that Accord hybrid review that we did, you'll notice that I said, hey, it's a hybrid, it's not gonna have exposed exhaust. Well, count me wrong, because the CR-V has them here. So again, let us know down in the comments below, do you like the exposed exhaust and the finishers, or do you like that kind of clean, hidden look that the Accord had? Let us know what you think. But overall, again, I really think, like I said, this CR-V looks great. Now that we've talked about the exterior, let's go ahead and jump inside. All right, here we are inside the CR-V Sport L Hybrid. So again, like I said about the exterior of the car, I think this might be one of the best interior designs on any of the generations prior to the CR-V. So again, design was just knocked out of the park here. I think it looks really good, kind of sporty, premium, especially even given the price point. So real quick, let's talk about that. I didn't talk about that outside. So the CR-V Hybrid are really all of the top trims, and it's a very easy choice. You go Sport L Hybrid, which this is, or you go Touring and get all the features. Now from a price difference, they're like the hybrid start at like 34 grand, this is like 37, and then the Touring is like 40. So it's like basically 3 grand between each of the trims. Again, I think this is the Goldilocks trim. It's the same thing I said in the Accord hybrid review, that the Sport L trim that Honda's come up with is a really good blend of performance, design, features, connectivity, all those things. So again, I think this is probably the trim I would end up with as well. But with that, above the sport trim, you get a few extra features. You do get things like a wireless charging pad and a slightly upgraded audio system. So the base sport trim comes with 6 speakers. This gets 8. You got to step up to touring to get the 12-speaker Bose system. That's probably the one feature I'm missing out of here. Again, you guys know that I like audio by now. So again, of course, you can pay for it and step up. But again, like I said, I like the look and feel of the Sport L Hybrid. But inside, one of the other big differences from the regular Sport trim are the seats and the surfaces. So with it being the L, that means you get things like leather, right? And so you get this kind of nice material, orange contrast stitching. You get the orange contrast stitching even on the fabric seats on the Sport Hybrid. So that actually looks pretty good too. But again, I like the kind of more premium surfaces and materials. Again, you got some nice materials here on the steering wheel, orange contrast stitching here as well. And again, there's just some really good like touch points. Again, given the price point, you wouldn't think it would be this nice inside, but overall, again, it's a really cool design. You got hard buttons for the HVAC to control all your AC and heating functions. You do have heated seats, which is nice, 3-way function. But again, down here in the center console area, you got USB-C for charging, USB-A for data. So you're gonna have to use kind of both charging cables. But what's nice, as we talk about connectivity, you do have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto on this trim. So you got this 9-inch color touchscreen. It's kind of Honda specific. Again, it's got good graphics. The CarPlay seems to work well. With it being the hybrid trim, you even got this special kind of hybrid gauge, which we'll talk about when we go for a drive, but that's got some useful info in there as well. As far as right in front of you, you've got a traditional, you got an actual analog speedometer and a 7-inch digital instrument cluster. So it is customizable, has pretty nice graphics, but it doesn't have the full digital instrument cluster or the 12.3-inch screen that you got in the Honda Accord. Again, this car launched before, so let us know down in the comments below. Are you gonna miss that? Are you okay with it? Again, I think this is still a good enough system, and the fact, again, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, I can be a happy camper with it, so I think it's pretty good. One thing you'll notice, and especially if you've driven like a previous gen CRV hybrid, you'll notice that they used to do kind of like a push button style gear selector. They've gone back to this mechanical style here. I kind of like the mechanical style because I like to be able to hold on to something while I drive. But I mean, I'm not anti push button, that's fine. But I don't know, I kind of like the look and feel of that. You do have some drive modes. We'll talk about that in the actual drive component. There's a button there for hill descent control, which is a nice feature. Parking brake and brake hold as well. Cup holders, little spot here. Typical center armrest, good pocket there. Overall, again, it's a CRV, right? So it's a very, modern place to be, but it's also very utilitarian. Lots of cup holders and things even in the door pockets. So overall, it's a good place to be. Let's go ahead and hop in the back and see how much room we have. All right, here we are in the second row now, and it's cavernous back here, right? There's a ton of space, and again, the CRV did get a little bit bigger for the 6th gen. It got a little bit longer, but it's definitely noticeable inside. I mean, so this is my driver position up front where I would be sitting. I've got tons, and I mean tons of knee room, leg room. I've got tons of headroom. Lots of space going this way as well. The tandem seating space is awesome. So again, this is truly a family vehicle. I think you'll have no problem fitting even 5 people actually comfortably in this thing. You'll see here again, all the seating surfaces are just like the front. You get that orange contrast stitching, which is a nice touch. Center armrest, kind of simple cup holder design, but it looks pretty nice. And then a headrest there as well. So again, 5-passenger vehicle for sure. You do get basic HVAC controls back here, as well as 2 USB-C ports. So between that and up front, you got 4 different USB ports in this car. So I think that's enough in addition to the wireless charging pad. So lots of connectivity as well. Again, a lot of the same materials from the front, door panels carry to the rear as well. So again, overall, this is a really good place to be. One thing that we can talk about is they actually adjusted the reclining function. So wow, yeah, now you saw me fall back, but that is nice. Since you're using this as a family car, you may want to, recline those seats back on a long drive just to get a little bit of extra comfort. So with that, let's hop out and check out the cargo area. All right, let's go ahead and check out the cargo space of the CR-V Sport L Hybrid. Now, one of the features that's unique to the trim is the fact that it actually has a power tailgate. So again, you could always pull on the handle here, but I'll use the remote, hold that, let it power up. Again, very nice feature. So yeah, again, a ton of space back here. So even with the seats folded up, there's 36.3 cubic feet of space. And if you fold down the second row, it more than doubles to 76.5 cubic feet of space. So you can fit a lot of stuff back here. Again, like I said, it's a family vehicle. You can definitely carry everything you need. If we try to lift this up, oh, you can't lift it up. There is no actual space because, again, this is the hybrid powertrain. So, you know, they're probably hiding some components back there. So you don't actually get to like have any underfloor storage. But again, like I said, the capacity that you have is definitely competitive for the segment. So with that, let's go ahead, talk about the powertrain. All right, here we go. Got the hood pop. Let's talk about this new hybrid powertrain. So it is different than what was in the 5th gen Honda CR-V. So this is the new 2-motor kind of direct drive hybrid system that Honda came up with, and it is fantastic. Like I said, we drove the Accord. You can check out that review, see how it drives, but it's just such a good powertrain. Now, let's talk about power figures. So it does 204 horsepower, but 247 pound-feet of torque. So that's the thing, right? The torque is that push. That's what you're gonna feel. And you know, with that kind of EV electrified feeling, the car is actually really quick. We'll talk more about that once we get behind the wheel. So again, this is a really cool powertrain. It is overall very much the same as what you get in the Accord, but there is a difference in the fact that they had to make some changes to allow the CR-V to tow. This car does have a 1,500 pound towing capacity where the Accord, you know, doesn't and can't do that. So that is even a mechanical difference that exists to allow for that functionality. But again, there's no better way to talk about the engine and how it feels than to actually go for a drive. So with that, let's go ahead and hop inside. All right, guys. We're inside the 2024 Honda CR-V Sport L Hybrid. We're gonna go ahead and take this thing for a drive. Just gonna go ahead and back out here. Maybe you can hear some of the humming that comes through. So again, that's kind of a thing with you know, hybrids and EVs. Since they're super quiet, it's basically a regulation. Automakers, you know, put that sound in the car so that you don't, you know, pedestrians know that you're coming. So admittedly, it's not too loud on the CR-V, so it's okay. But you know, sometimes it can be a little loud. But other than that, this thing is super quiet, as you'll see here. So we'll go ahead and take off. So there's a few different drive modes in the car, just like you know, most vehicles today. Let's talk about them. So you've got Econ, it's kind of like your normal driving mode. The default is literally called normal mode, and then you have a sport mode on the high end, and they actually have a snow mode as well. So if you're in inclement weather or a place like, you know, that snows a lot, that's, I guess, a nice feature to have because it'll change the traction management in the vehicle and things like that. But we're going ahead, we're driving in Econ mode. So the really, you know, we talked about the powertrain in this car, but just to reiterate, it's really good. It's that 2-motor direct drive hybrid system that Honda launched with this car, and now we actually have it on the Accord as well. There is a difference in the system, as we talked about, as far as you know, really how they drive, but also just from a spec perspective. They have the same output rating, so you got 204 horsepower, 247 pound-feet of torque. But really, they just drive differently. And the CR-V, you know, being an SUV and having to have a 1,500 pound towing capacity rating, actually has an additional lockup clutch in the powertrain. So there are some fundamental hardware differences as well. But it's really how they drive. Again, I'm driving in Econ mode. It doesn't feel like it's being throttled back too much, which is nice. Sometimes the automakers, you know, pull it back way too much, I feel like. You know, but again, this car is already fuel efficient. The EPA ratings are like, you know, 40 in the city and 34 on the highway for this particular trim. I think that's really, really good. As I said it before in the Accord review, for me, I really think these kind of Sport L trims that Honda's come up with are really the Goldilocks, the perfect blend of features, price, performance. And this particular car is like 37 grand, so it's actually a step below the top touring trim, where in the Accord is kind of a little bit more in the middle of the trim lineup. But for here, again, unless you need every single feature under the sun, I think this car has great connectivity, great features, and again, with that price point and fuel efficiency, I think this is the trim to go with, including those styling elements we talked about. But with that, let me go ahead and switch into normal mode. And okay, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, this is again the default mode now, but going from econ to normal is pretty noticeable. Yeah, you do all of a sudden get a more lively throttle experience, just a little bit of pressure, and all of a sudden you get that kind of extra EV push to it, which is interesting, right? Because on the gauge in front of you, you actually don't have like your typical RPM. Essentially, it's a power meter, so it goes in increments of 25 to show you how, the percentage of power being drawn out. And it takes a little getting used to, but it does show you in pretty clear font, and so I'll give them credit there. Also, in the 9-inch color touchscreen, you do have the kind of hybrid drivetrain system. It shows you like when the car is regenerating, when the battery's being charged up. Shows you your current mile per gallon, your estimated range. So it's got some pretty cool graphics there as well. But yeah, driving this car is really good. Again, I think it's a very similar experience to the Accord, but again, different. The fact that it's an SUV, you got a higher ride height, it's a little bit heavier than Accord. The Accord definitely felt faster, if that makes sense, and it should, right? It's an Accord, it's lighter, but again, this car is not slow either. I mean, again, I think I'll show you here at the next stop sign. Can give it a little push. We'll go into sport mode. There we go. Sport mode, when you turn it on, it also adjusts some of the regen functions. So we'll talk about that here in a second too. But let me go ahead, turn the regen to the lowest level in sport mode. Yeah, and we'll just do one little quick pull here, and yeah, I mean, not only does it sound good, but yeah, that's pretty good grunt. I mean, that's 50 miles an hour. So, I mean, it's not a barn burner, and it's not supposed to be either. But again, given that it's a CRV, I think Honda can say this is the fastest CRV they've ever made, right? Because this is such an improvement over the previous hybrid powertrain, and at the same time, again, I just really think that this drives so much better than the previous powertrain that now getting a hybrid is truly like a reward. It's not, oh, I got to get a hybrid. Like, you're actually getting more performance. You're obviously getting the fuel efficiency benefits. So I think this is a win-win. And let us know down in the comments below. They still offer the 1.5 turbo engine as kind of the entry option. It's only on the lower trims. But if you do step up, you can get this, new 2-motor direct drive hybrid system. So let us know down in the comments below. Is that what you're getting? I can tell you right now, Honda is selling a ton of these things, right? But again, let us know down below for you if this is the right choice for you. Again, I think given the cargo capacity, the features and everything, it's a really hard car to beat, guys. It has just about everything. I will say this though, since this car launched before the Accord, it doesn't have all of the same infotainment upgrades that we've talked about in the Accord review. So, like I said, this has the 9-inch color touchscreen. The Accord gets the 12.3-inch, and then if you step up to the Touring on the Accord, you get the extra Google built-in functionality. So we don't have that here in the CRV. It's still a good system though, and I give them credit because they have good connectivity. So yeah, like I said, I think the paddle shifters and the regen. The one thing I'll say about that is in the Accord, you had this kind of 6 levels of regen. Here in the CRV, you only get 4. Some of that, again, is a difference in the powertrain. But again, even on the most aggressive setting, if you let off the brake, it's probably not as aggressive as the Accord, given that there were 6 levels of it in that car. But it definitely brings you to it definitely slows you down. I think the Accord gave you more of that kind of one-pedal driving feel. So if that's important to you, you may find that different than driving the Accord. But again, I think it's plenty in here. And again, you can adjust it with these paddles. I'm in the most aggressive setting, and I'm not even using the brake. And we're gonna get to a stop sign. It's basically gonna stop me. So let's just see if it does that. Literally got to the stop sign. I'll push the brake right now. I just had to stop at the stop sign. Everything else, it brought me down to a stop. The regen's really good. If you're in sport mode like I am in now, it actually like keeps the regen on, if that makes sense. If you're in the other like normal or econ mode, if you click the paddle for regen, it'll actually go away and go back to the normal regen mode. But on sport, it actually holds it. So again, you've got this kind of aggressive acceleration and aggressive deceleration. So if you use it right and you get used to it, it's actually a really good driving experience. Now, again, not quite one pedal driving, but pretty close. So for me, again, I think this is great. I think it's a really, really good car. It's obviously a reason why they're selling a lot of them as well. So again, thanks for watching. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. All right, guys, that's a wrap. What did you think of the 2024 Honda CR-V Sport L Hybrid? So now here on the channel, we reviewed this car. We've also reviewed the Accord Sport L Hybrid, so be sure to check out that video as well. Let us know down in the comments below what you think. Are you going sedan versus CUV? Are you looking for more of a sporty drive? Are you going for ultimate utility? Honestly, I think no matter which car you choose, you really can't go wrong. They're both really good. They're both selling like hotcakes for a reason. So definitely consider them, put them on your shopping list, and let us know which one you're gonna go with. And with that, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at the next episode.